Here's my review of the new album Jonatan by Young Leon. And I have a lot of thoughts on Young Leon, or Young Lean as some people call him. And in particular, I've been thinking a lot about him because I'm teaching my hip-hop class. It's the end of the semester, graduation's coming up soon. And I've been teaching like the last couple of weeks, I've been emphasizing sort of other aspects of rap, in particular internet rap, and what internet rap is. So I taught about white rappers and internet rap, basically one after the other. And I've had some interesting moments where I played Ginseng Strip for my students, and I expected a couple of them to know it, but the entire class just lit up like, so what's going on here? Like, I mean, I know that Young Leon is fairly popular, but like, I didn't really understand that he was this popular. And finally, I just asked one of the students, front row, I said, what's going on? She's like, that's on a TikTok. What's on a TikTok? Just the first line. And apparently the first 10 words of the song are very famous on TikTok. So that's very important. Like, it's very important that Young Leon is this character, this person who's managed to be so relevant in the internet space that even now in 2025, the young people are relating to his music. The other person that I was teaching right around that same time was Post Malone. How is he going to draw into this? Somebody who I used as an example of a vampiric white rapper behavior. I'll get into that soon. But what was interesting, what I really tried to emphasize, was that internet rap is a complicated term because internet rap is in itself inherently disjointed and contradictory. So at the same time as it's fun and goofy and light and about nothing, it's also really atmospheric, dark, and depressing. The one thing that no matter how internet rap is, the one thing that I think unifies all of it is lo-fi because it's being made mostly in bedrooms and therefore cannot have the high fidelity of some kind of fancy super producer. You know, you're not going to have Max Martin on a lo-fi cloud rap thing. So it's lo-fi and it's decentralized, and that's what's so essential. From Young Lean to Dochi, you know, internet rap might come from a place, it might come from Sweden, it might come from North Florida, but ultimately it comes from the internet. So that's where I get into this question of like, I'm talking about rap and I'm talking about Young Leon, but like, is this rap? Is this album rap? What is this album? And this is where I talk about Post Malone a lot on this channel. I brought him up a little bit. My students are huge Post Malone fans. My brother, this is true, huge Post Malone fan. But, you know, my anger at Post Malone is that I felt like, and many people feel like that he was just a vampire. He was just using the hip-hop aesthetic to sell records. He was using it like a costume while insulting rap music and insulting hip-hop as having a limited emotional range. And then the second that it became convenient to jump on and change his whole style and become a country singer, he just did it. He just sort of showed his colors and is not actually interested in the culture, in the art, but is interested in just being popular and wearing different costumes. And now he has a cowboy hat. Before he had the grills, and that's what he is. So is that what's happening here with Young Leon? Is that what's happening? I don't think so. I don't think so. Even though he is a white rapper who came up from the internet, who used a lot of Black American slang in his music, and is now apparently making a shift. And I know he's had side projects in the past that have tipped their toes into rock and roll and lo-fi rock and stuff like that. I know, but this is a mainline album, right? This is who Young Lean is, who Young Leon is. But I don't think so. Volksgeist had a good video about, because this is the thing. Like I'm not like. I'm an old Leon, okay? I'm an old guy. I was not young when Young Lean was popular. I was in my 30s, all right? Do you understand? I was in my 30s when Young Lean came out. So I wasn't paying attention. He didn't mean anything to me. So I watched the Volksgeist video about it, and it was very useful because he was able to explain something which is clear when there's people who respond in my comment channel about the importance of Young Lean, how he was able to create this lane in hip-hop that really spoke to a certain kind of youthful alienation, that was able to create music that was rap, but also sort of not rap, and he was able to sort of transcend the genre itself and just make this kind of weird, dreamy, cloudy space. And I think from the beginning, based on what I've seen, based on what I've heard, based on what I've been told, you know, he's always just followed his vision. And there's a difference between following your vision and cashing in on your whiteness. Okay? I feel like Post Malone just was like, oh, sweet. Cha-ching! Awesome. I got visibility. Everyone thinks I'm funny. I'm going to make Oreos and be on sports betting commercials because I'm a likable guy. Right? Whereas Young Leon, I don't think so. I think he would actually have more success if he kept making sad boys music, if he kept making sad boy rap. I think that would work better. I think this shift is not going to go over well with his fans, which is evidenced by, listen, I try not to watch videos of other reviewers before I do my reviews, but sometimes I make an exception if I think there might be something instructive. So I watched my dear colleague from Connecticut, Anthony Fantano, who I met last month. Very nice guy. If you're ever curious what's he like in person, he's a lot like he is in his videos. Nice guy. Funny guy. He's probably funnier than you expect. I mean, he's funny on his videos, but he's actually very funny in real person as well. Anyways, he gave the album a 3 out of 10, spoiler. And I think it's that connection that he had with who Young Lean was, who Jung Leon was, because, like, he was there. He was in his 20s, right? Or Fantano was in his 20s or his 30s. No, Fantano was in his 20s when he was talking about this person who was a teenager. Like, he was able to really feel that moment, to live through the cloud moment. I wasn't. I was busy having kids and not paying attention to new music. And so now I come here and visit, and I see that 3 out of 10, and I'm excited because, you know, okay, so he didn't shake my hand and ask me what was my worst take. I'm bummed. I wish he did. But now I think I have a better answer, because this video is not going to be, Fantano sucks for giving it a 3. But he does kind of suck for giving it a 3. I'm just kidding. He doesn't suck. But, like, I think that's a pretty crazy low grade. But it makes sense if you are basing it on what Young Lean was. And I think what I want to do, if I can add to the discourse, I think his review is solid. It's very well argued. I don't actually disagree with anything that he said, except that I like this a lot more. But what I want to do is really emphasize something that Volksgeist also talked about in his video, which is, like, he's a really smart collaborator. Young Lean really knows how to use and work with producers. I've only reviewed a couple of his projects, but that's been very clear. And I think he's also helped to spread that with the rest of the Drain Gang, the Sad Boys, the Sad Drain, whatever it is, the whole Swedish rap scene, to just really work with producers in a very smart way. And so most of this album is produced by someone named Rami Dawood, who's a Swedish guy who moved over from Yemen, which itself is a fascinating story. Hey, do you know what's happening in Yemen? Do you? You really should. I'm not saying to switch away from my video and look up some videos on YouTube. Just put Yemen explained. Al Jazeera has some pretty good videos on the topic. Although, of course, Al Jazeera support me. It's a civil war. It's like crazy civil war with external factors. Israel's in there. Iran's in there. Saudi Arabia's in there. It's a whole mess. But anyways, it's a fascinating, just his existence in Sweden is part of the greatness of Sweden, right? Part of the greatness of Sweden is its acceptance of immigrants and how much that's helped their country, despite it being a country that's so often used by racists as examples for why ethnic monostates should be great. We have all these wonderful examples of excellent Swedes of varying backgrounds, right? So just that's already kind of in there. And then we have this album. And what is this album, really? Well, part of what makes him so important, and Jung Leon is a very important rapper. He's very important. The main difference, by the way, between him and Post Malone, I didn't say this. I forgot to write it down. I had the thought while walking across the bridge over there. There's a bridge over there. The thing that I realize is it's do you give more than you take? And that's the thing about white people in non-white spaces. I try to give more than I take from hip-hop. That's my goal. I don't know if I always succeed. I sure as hell know that people are going to call me out if I'm failing, and for that I say thank you, not F you. I say thank you for calling me out. But that's my goal, is to give more than I take, to add to the discourse, to take the societally given, the structural inequality that is built into my education and place in the world, and use that to spread the intellectual analysis of this vital art form. Is that what Young Lean's doing? I think so. I think Young Lean gives more than he takes. I think the way that he helped to influence an entire generation of Black American producers is not nothing. I mean, who did Post Malone influence? Nobody. He just did what other people were doing and made more money. Listen, do the math. If he was black, he would have sold half. All right? There's a reason why Eminem is still the best. All right, the best white rapper. I'm not going to make a white rapper Mount Rushmore, but if I did, Jesus Christ, am I going to put Young Lean on there? I think I might. I am not going to get dragged into the Mount Rushmore things, and I'm not going to do more AI. So, this album's interesting because he gets a lot of credit. Now, that was a diversion. I just went off on a tangent. The importance of this album, the importance of him, is his emotional honesty and how he brings emotional honesty into rap music and how he helped the revolution of the 2010s, which I would say was spurred on by the work of Scarface in the 90s, the work of Kanye West with 808s and Heartbreak, the work of Kid Cudi, and to make the emotional registers of rap music to expand until we have people like Juice WRLD and then ultimately people like Ray Vaughn and frickin' YG, right? Like, we're arriving at a point of more emotional honesty, and I think Young Leon, I think his growth, his presence has helped that, even if sometimes he's just a silly Billy guy talking about Arizona iced tea, apparently. But this album isn't even really that. Like, this album doesn't feel like it's a super tortured personal trip. It feels more like it's basically a breakup album. It feels to me like he is just, if anything, it's kind of fun. It's kind of a fun album. I mean, it's dark and it's singing, but it's like, it seems like a straightforward breakup album. It doesn't feel like torture. It doesn't feel like he is on the edge. There's a term I accidentally came up for self-elimination. It does not seem like he is exchanging life for nothingness. It doesn't seem like he's talking about that. This is not that dark of an album. And the most important thing is, this album is a jukebox. It's a lo-fi jukebox. Listen, thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who forgets to do his intro sometimes, because that's my thing. I'm a teacher. Do you know who my teacher's assistant is? Young Leon. He is going to give you a guide to 10 albums you must listen to. There are 10 albums that are referenced on here. I have most of the CDs on the chair next to me. I'm going to be showing them to you because he's already, as a rapper, pointed you to 50 Cent and 3 6 Mafia and Travis Scott, okay? I think he's done a pretty good job of helping, especially 3 6 Mafia. I think he really helps a lot of their visibility in places where maybe people wouldn't know about them. But he is running through his influences on here. ABBA, Beach Boys, Zeppelin, Bowie, Bill Withers, Smokey Robinson. I'm going to get to all 10 of them. I got a list right here. And this is our homework for you. If you love Young Lean, you must listen to these albums. Every single one of these albums is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Not a 7 out of 10, oh gee, that's kind of cool. I mean a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. He's running through it. Hey, I've gone on Lyric Genius. None of these things are being picked up on because they're all Young Lean fans, and the Young Lean fans are all like 22-year-old dudes sitting in their room playing, what's that game? Bloodborne. They're playing Bloodborne and drinking Code Red and Arizona iced tea. They don't have the level of musical acumen that Young Lean has as a full-time musician, and he is sharing that with them, and I will share it with you. My favorite thing about this album is how bad his voice is. It's really weak. It's really, really, really weak. It is radically not auto-tuned. This is a radically un-auto-tuned album, and for that, it deserves credit, absolute credit. This is my favorite thing of his I've ever heard. I really enjoy it. It feels like it's honest, and I love this atmosphere, this kind of bedroomy, grunge-adjacent music with a real pop sensibility, with a little bit of hip-hop. It doesn't feel like it's trying to be anything. It just sort of is what it is. And I think this production by Rami Dawood is amazing. I think it fits his voice perfectly. And as somebody who grew up loving Neil Young and Dinosaur Jr. and Bismarcky, there's something to be said about the strength of a human voice that is not great at singing. And that's what this album has all over the place. And it's my hope that it inspires other people to make music like this. All right, let's get to the album, shall we? Opening track is called Jonatan, which is just his name. There's a sort of added... There's a thing when rappers use their real names that indicate this is serious. And I think that's what he's doing here. You'll notice I've called him Young Leon. It's because his middle name is Leondor, which does not mean lean doer. Okay? Like his middle name is literally lean doer, right? Like, imagine if your middle name was heroin shooter. Hello, my name is Jonas Heroin Shooter. All right? So, like, his middle name is literally Leon Dur, but that's how you pronounce it. And J's are Y's in most languages. So, Jung Leon. That's how you'd say his name, Jonatan. That's how you'd say it. And this album is sort of more consciously Swedish, as is, can be told by the first real track, Might Not Be. The first of the absolute 10 out of 10 albums I am going to mention, the 10 out of 10 albums that I'm going to mention, is, of course, where'd it go? There it is. ABBA Gold or More ABBA Gold. They're both. I have both ABBA Gold and More ABBA Gold in the same CD. If you don't, in the same container. If you don't love ABBA, you suck. I'm just going to say that. I stole this CD, actually. I apologize. I had a Swedish friend in college named Annika, and she lent me the CD, and I still have it. If you're watching this, Annika, I will get it back to you. You are currently a teacher in New York City. Love it. Super happy. But she was Swedish, and she shared that with me, and I was like, ABBA sucks, man. They're just stupid 80s stuff, man. They don't suck at all. And this is fascinating because it's, first of all, so Swedish. He's reclaiming Swedish heritage. One of my best friends I've made as an adult is a guy named Matthias, and he's from southern Sweden. And I went to go visit him in the town of Helsingborg, and I got off the boat from Denmark because you can take a little ferry. Man, people be getting drunk in northern Denmark, southern Sweden. There's a whoa. Akavit. Anyways, Matthias picks me up on the beach right there, and he's wearing ABBA sneakers. Now, they were Dolce and Gabbana, and the ABBA part was just there, but I was like, oh my God, it's so funny. It's like all they do is love ABBA, but like they do. And it's important because it's part of Swedish culture. It's part of him sort of reclaiming his culture, but also, this is the thing. Hey, I'm a big deal. I'm a bigwig, all right? Do you see this right here? See what that says right there? Advanced reader copy. I got contacted by the publisher of this book, The Story of ABBA. All right? And I've been reading this book. It's great. I'm not allowed to quote it. It says right here, you're not for quotation, not for resale. All right? Let's have a big deal. The book comes out in a couple months. But I will talk to you about the basic idea of the book. Because look at the subtitle, Melancholy Undercover. This book is based on the premise that ABBA, even though they are the paragons of poppy, bubblegum pop, they are underground, actually really dark. Don't forget, Scandinavian nights are dark. Scandinavia has an issue with people. Okay, they have an issue with that stuff that gets you demonetized. There's a lot of melancholy. And this whole book is like really delving into the fact that a song like The Day Before You Came, just listen to the Day Before You Came. Just listen to just the minor notes and the tone of her voice. There's so much sadness underneath ABBA. And there's so much sadness in the Sad Boys. It now all makes sense to me. Of course, Jung Leon is continuing internet rap and following on from Lil B, and he's continuing on from a lot of the heritage of rappers like 3 6 Mafia, but he's also continuing the heritage of making music like ABBA. It's all one thing, everybody. It's Swedish. It's a Swedish heritage with hidden melancholy. And he's singing with such fragility. He's singing in this great, intentionally indirect way. Might not be such a bad idea if I never called you. Opening up with this whole breakup theme might be a good idea if I never called you. Then we get to the second 10 out of 10 album referenced on here. Okay, this is a different Bill Withers album, but either of these two albums, either Still Bill or what album is it off of? What album is Ain't No Sunshine in the City off of? I wrote it down. It's off of Just As I Am, another great Bill Withers CD. If you don't own or if you've never listened to a complete Bill Withers project, you absolutely need it. And it's just a little throwaway reference, but he's giving us a lesson. He's telling us what to do all the time with this great rough singing, these lo-fi sounds, these little curling sounds, and this buzzy bass. Beautifully produced by Drawwood. And wonderful. Then we get to the next song, Forever Young. Forever Young. Now, no, I don't think this is in reference to the song Alphaville. I mean, by Alphaville, Forever Young, I Want to Be. No, this is another 10 out of 10 album that he's sending us to, Planet Waves by Bob Dylan. Oh my God. Well, I don't know what to do about this Bob Dylan, Timothy Chalamet, and Buckpot, man. No, forget that early time. Listen to the song Forever Young off of here. You listen to the song Forever Young off of Planet Waves. Listen to the way that Bob Dylan sings this song, and you tell me that's not exactly the same way that Jung Leon is singing on the song. It's really there, except this song is upbeat and poppy. This song is like an ABBA song. It's like a poppy song. This thin singing, it's so good, and simple synthesizer, these improvised lyrics. It's like a bedroom pop satire of an 80s song, but it's really good, and it's all about the mask, you know? You might be asking yourself, what is the point of the mask is? Okay? If you're sitting there saying, what is the point of the mask is, he's talking to you. He's talking to you about it. The mask will break, but not your name. Your name will echo through the rain. I love the glory, I love the pain. A lot of it's about his life and where he is, and then some strings come over in the post-chorus and gets a little bit more rappy, and then it slows down beautifully. There's no drums, just buzzy bass and synth and weak voice. I don't think you should have given Jung Lean's album a 3. Okay? That's me pretending to shake hands. So I invited Rick Beato and Anthony Fantano to come, and I watched them do the video, and I thought he was going to come over and shake my hand and do it, and then he didn't, but it's okay. I'm over it. I'm not over it. Okay, moving on. Listen, I'm going to be doing this for a long time. I'm sure we'll have a chance to do it, at least the Skyder Cup. Then we get to the song Horses, which is a reference to... Okay, I don't have the CD. I don't know what... Literally, Sticky Fingers by Rolling Stones was my favorite album of all time for about 10 years of my life. From the age of about 12 to 22, that was my favorite album ever made. Sticky Fingers is a perfect album, a perfect Rolling Stones album. Maybe Brown Sugar, the lyrics, I would go in a different direction with the lyrics. That maybe takes it to a 9 out of 10 in our modern day. But there's a song called Wild Horses this song is clearly in reference to. This nice slurry guitar, grunge, just a couple chords, and all about... And this is the thing, is this about a breakup, or is this like a free bird breakup, like, I have to be a free wild horse, or is it about artistic development? You could read it either way, like he has to break free of artistic pressures, business pressures, collaboration pressures being put on him, or can he break free? Wild horses keep pulling me away from you, divine forces, I leave the world behind, let the dreams come true, you'll never catch up to what I do, wild horse got her on free. If you like music, the song Wild Horses, you've heard it a million times. Great song. Just listen to the drums. Just listen to the way Charlie Watts comes in on the drums with nothing. With nothing. Not a doo-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Just starts with his beat. It is one of the most emotionally satisfying moments in recorded music history. Oh my God. I'm getting goosebumps underneath my jacket, which is seeing its last days. And that's also kind of an epic stadium song with these buzzy synths. Then we get to Paranoid Paparazzi. I'm not going to hold up OK Computer. I don't think this is an OK Computer reference. Nice kind of distorted synthesizers, opens throughout, develops really nicely with these drums. The lyrics just repeat over and over and over again, over and over and over again. Now paint you with a shattered heart, played myself like I could play guitar. It feels like it's about like this woman who he's into, but that's also kind of stream of consciousness. Every desire avenue has a new start. Paranoid Paparazzi, move in the woods. It's almost spread syrup all in my cherry wounds. It's a feeling I can't seem to let go. It feels a little bit more kind of stream of consciousness. There's an intermezzo, a little intermission with this woman speaking in Swedish, and these nice junky drums come in. I love the way the drums come in. The drums on this album are used super well. Then we get to Babyface Maniacs, which is my least favorite song on the album because it just feels like it's a... Sorry, I just realized. 1 second. It has kind of a Natural Born Killers feel. It's increasingly distorted drums with the 90s guitar line. It's kind of a pop song, but it's like this, like, we're lovers on the run. Babyface Maniacs. It's this idea of young lovers as being like criminals, which makes you think of Natural Born Killers, but then it reminds you of maybe not a 10 album, but a 10 musician. Serge Gainsbourg, that's why I saw it up there on my thing. Initial Bébé is the name of that album, okay? That's his music with Brigitte Bardot, which is amazing. There's a song called Bonnie and Clyde. It sounds to me like there's these little cuckoo in the back here that I feel might be tied in, but maybe I'm pulling it by the hair, as they would say in France. I love the way the drums come in. It's just great. Nice little Baroque sounds in the back, and he cuts off, it comes back, a little string quartet and flute. What's going on here? Next song is called I'm Your Dirt, I'm Your Love, I'm Your Desire. Slurred, simple singing with these strings that could be a guitar line. It's a love machine with this drum going. Here's the thing. If you gave this song to ABBA, or you gave this song to like Max Martin, you could do that. You could turn the song into a pop hit super easy. And this is a game I like to play, which actually I play a lot with the Rolling Stones as well. Love or heroin? Is this song about love or heroin? I can't tell. I'm your dirt, I'm your love, you're my last and first one, I'm the ash in your lungs, so let's burn down the sun. Junkies don't like being around light. They don't like the sunlight. They hate it. They like to be in the dark. Okay? As the Rolling Stones said in Exile on Main Street, another 10 out of 10 album not referenced on this album, the sunlight bores the daylights out of me. You know, they don't want to be in the sun. So there's a lot of stuff about the sun, and so I can't quite tell if it's like how much he loves somebody or if it's how much he loves opiates. And then we get, oh my God, then we get a 2-for-1 special. 2 10 out of 10 albums referenced in an album in the title Teenage Symphonies for God, God Will Only. This we have the absolute one of the best 1-2 punches in the 60s music, okay? Pet Sounds and Smile. Now let's talk about it, okay? I don't know how no one on Genius and my dear colleague from Connecticut, I don't know how no one is talking about this fact, okay? This right here is called the Smile Sessions. The album Smile was the follow-up to Pet Sounds. Pet Sounds is a perfect album, the album that unseated Sticky Fingers when I was 22. Okay, like it's my favorite album of all time. Just unbelievable. This album is human perfection. It's not musical perfection. It's human perfection, and the weight of it was so great that Brian Wilson, the guy behind, couldn't really actually make anything that really matched it. So all we have is this kind of weird Frankenstein recreation of what Smile should have been, and it's my second favorite Beach Boys album, and I listened to it way more than I listened to Pet Sounds, because I listened to Pet Sounds too much when I was 23 years old living in Marseille, okay? This album, what were the exact words that Brian Wilson used to describe what he was doing on this album? Would you like to hear them? His intent was to, quote, create a teenage symphony to God. That's exactly what he was trying to do. This is Jung Leon directly quoting Brian Wilson, another master of pop music that is also filled with hidden melancholy. Hidden melancholy and pop music, and it's all coming together and it all makes sense. And then the rest of the lyrics is this whole God will only treat you right, because the opening track off of this is God Only Knows. And so God Only Knows, this is clearly a reference to Pet Sounds. So you now have to listen to Bill Withers, ABBA, Rolling Stones, 2 different Beach Boys albums. Let's throw a Gainsbourg thing on there. We're talking Planet Waves, and we're still not done. So much beautiful stuff. I really love the strangeness of the song. How strained his voice is, and when he sings, I could tear up right here. And I can't tell what the goal of the album is, but then it has the worst part of the album. Are you ready? You ready? The worst part of this album is when he says that I'm standing tall through it all. Man. Then we get to the song Changes. This is a David Bowie reference. I don't know why I'm saying that like, listen, Jack, I don't know why I'm saying that like Joe Biden. Sometimes I just start talking like Joe Biden. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. Okay, got hairy legs. All right, like David Bowie. This album, Hunky Dory, is a perfect album. It's another perfect album. How many perfect albums can I possibly show you? This has the song Changes. If you call a song Changes, that's what you're referenced to. And this song is my favorite part of the album musically. It is a little bit out there. It doesn't fit in with the rest of it. It's almost like dub music. It has this, oh my God, it's so awesome. And then I looked it up, and it's 1 Tricks Point Never. That's what it is. That's why it sounds different, and that's why, no offense to Rami Dawood, that's why it's so good, because it's another producer who's just doing something absolutely amazing. This is like, I kind of wish there was a whole album of just this, but I'm just so happy to have it. It's a beautiful song. Changes they come, changes they go, life goes over and over again. Get money or die trying. I don't own 50 Cent on CD, or I'd show Get Rich or Die Trying. Right now, Get Money, kind of dub-like, talking about the futility of life. Maybe it's a sort of anti-capitalist kind of take on the way that existence and ambition is reduced to the accumulation of capital. I don't know. But there's some great distorted guitars on the back, and then these super awesome choirs singing in the back. There's just no drums and no bass, just this frail, beautiful voice. God, I love his voice. The next perfect album, number 9 of the perfect albums, number 9 is Rubber Soul by the Beatles, which I don't have either. I don't know where it went. Someone stole it. Another perfect album. True story. Rubber Soul was so good that it made Brian Wilson make Pet Sounds, which was so good that it made Paul McCartney make Sgt. Pepper's. And then that little back and forth ended. You know, in my life, I love you so. I think that's what this is intentionally referencing, because later on in the song, he refers to himself as always being a dreamer. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not. The only one. Dinner for Schmucks. Like, I'm not the only one. That's, you know, I've always been a dreamer. Like, that's a John Lennon song. In My Life is a John Lennon song. In My Life actually was John Lennon's F.U. to Yesterday by Paul McCartney, being like, oh, you think you can write a song that's bittersweet about the past? Well, let me drop this on you. Except I got a secret. What was John Lennon's secret within My Life, by the way? He had a secret weapon. Paul McCartney had an amazingly written song that is infinitely recorded and will exist forever and ever and ever, as all time exists. But he just had a string section. What did John Lennon have? John Lennon had a closed hi-hat and Ringo Starr. There are places I remember. Just that one. Just the, oh my God. I'm heaping praise on British minimalist drummers today, everybody. But that's, anyways. Beautiful song. Then we get to Swan Song. I don't know if this is on purpose, but I think it is. Because Swan Song, you might not know this. You might know this. Swan Song was the name of Led Zeppelin's independent label, After Houses the Holy. Another perfect 10 out of 10 album. This is one that Fantano and I agree on. Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin. I'm just going to throw that on there because I think this is in reference to that, because it's Swan Song. That's the name of their record label. If someone released an album and had a song called No Limit, you'd think, oh, is that about No Limit Records? These blooping synths and these doubled voices almost kind of reminds me of Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney, but I don't have that album either. Straightforward breakup lyrics. Check my phone, like, where did it all go wrong? And then he makes reference to, and then the actual 10 out of 10, Go Into a Go-Go by The Miracles featuring Smokey Robinson. I don't have that CD either. But if you've never listened to Smokey Robinson, if you never actually listened to the song Tracks of My Tears, which is what he's directly quoting, okay? He seems to be quoting mostly albums by rock stars and then R&B songs. So we have No Sunshine in the City and Tracks of My Tears by Smokey Robinson, but these are all things capable of just being at the very top of that great bittersweet melancholy pop beauty that you can possibly create. You know, how different are Smokey Robinson and ABBA? I know their life experience is so different, but what they're capable of doing, goddamn, I love Smokey Robinson. So now I'm mad at myself. Smokey Robinson is so awesome. I don't think it's fair to compare them. But anyways, No Secret When the Swan Dies. Almost like a Beirut little horn section there. Terminator Symphony. Voice kind of starts over this warbled harpsichord. I Just Want to Feel Alive. And then it gets unexpectedly epic. These like super self-serious choir sounds. This great rapping. Like, this is actually the only real rap song on the album. All I Want Is to Feel Alive. Summer nights, windows down. I feel the pain rushing through your eyes. Running out of time in this glass castle. Running out of luck. Who to talk. Whatever comes gotta go down. All these ideas of just wanting to live and try to figure out what love is. And there's a train going by and it's going choo choo. So that's kind of cool. Train. In Swedish is train. An owl is ugla. It's an owl train. Ugla train. Almost like a Daft Punk or Justicey end, this kind of like fractured Baroque techno. And then the album ends with Lessons from Above. So much of the theme of this album. Fuck, man, how many people put in Sky Bros, switch to decaf? Man, I live my life sober as hell. I'm just this passionate about music. I had coffee like 4 hours ago. I just get this excited talking about music. Anyways, people are like, Sky Bro, calm down. No, you want someone to calm down, go watch someone else. Nice, unsteady guitar here. This boom, clap, very unified production all the way throughout except for that one awesome song. Kind of Nirvana-ish, like what if Butch Vig produced this? You know, you can do some interesting things here. Lessons from Above, Lessons Drawn in Blood. The kind of weird like dark self-harmy occultish themes that are often in his music. And then there's the flattest note on the entire album, which is my favorite part of the whole album. The way he sings, I wish there were honor among us now. He just hits it so wrong. And it's just that rawness. I love it. I love it. I want more rawness. I want more raw Jonatan Landor. Okay? And then it has this like double singing, which is just really nice, and you hear his name at the end, and there's some nice cello and viola at the end. So there's my experience. There's my review. There are the 10 albums that you absolutely must listen to if you want to say that you respect and like Young Lean. Okay, Drain Boys? Okay, Sad Boy Gang? Here they are. ABBA Gold, Beach Boys Pet Sounds, Beach Boys Smile, Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers, Led Zeppelin Physical Graffiti, Going to a Go-Go by the Miracles, Hunky Dory by David Bowie, Rubber Soul by the Beatles, Just As I Am by Bill Withers, and Bob Dylan Planet Waves. Throw in a little Serge Gainsbourg and you are all set. Till next time, everybody. Where's the camera? There's the camera.